Today we're going to create this cute bookmark. I've made this out of cotton yarn. I love using cotton as it's durable and it doesn't fluff up. But this is a good opportunity to use any oddments of yarn that you may have. You want to make the flower fairly tight. So when choosing your yarn and hook, I find it best if you go down a hook size to the recommended size they say for the yarn that you're using. You would normally use a 3.5 to 4.5 with the type of yarn I have, but I've gone down to a 3mm hook because I want to keep it nice and tight, which in turn will make it nice and firm. We're going to start by creating the center of the flower. Create a magic ring and chain one. The chain one not only secures the ring from coming undone, it will give the first double crochet or stitch, whatever one you're working on, something to sit up against. The petals are created in the next round, so we want to prepare this round so that we can work in them. The first stitch is a double crochet, chain one, double crochet, chain two. We repeat this sequence a further 4 times so that we've worked 5 in total. The sequence is 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 2. We've worked 2 sequence, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 2. That's 3 sequences, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 2, 4, and 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 2. Close the round with a slip stitch in the first double crochet worked. Insert the hook under the V of the stitch. Yarn over and pull through both stitches. Pull the tail to close the center. We've now created the first round. It looks a bit like a star, and that's because after every second crochet we did a chain 2. These chain 2 spaces are where we're going to work the petals. The chain 1 spaces in between are where we're going to work a slip stitch, and that will pull the petal down to create the shape. But first, let's create the stem. The length of the stem will depend on the books that you are going to be using. I chain 70, and that includes roughly about 10 stitches needed to form the petal. To measure the length of the chain that you need, if you place this just above the page of your book, work a chain so that it goes just beyond the page of the book. Once you've done that, add on about 10 chains so that you can create the leaf. We yarn over and pull the loop over and take it along the shaft. I am exaggerating it here just to show you, but if you take it onto the fattest part, that's where the gauge is. So here, across here, is going to be the 3mm, which is the size of my hook. Create the length of chain that you need pause the video and I'll meet you back when you've completed it. I've completed the length I need, making sure that I added an extra 10 stitches beyond the bottom page of the book so that I can accommodate the leaf. To create the leaf, work in the third chain from the hook. We don't want the loop that's on the hook. We count 1, 2, and in that third one back, work a slip stitch. In the next chain, work a half treble, and I'm working in UK terms. So a yarn over, insert into the chain, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, and yarn over, pull through all 3. In the next chain, work a treble, yarn over, insert into the next chain, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We're making the leaf shape by increasing the height of the stitch each time. In the next 3 chains, work a double treble. Yarn over twice before we insert into the next chain, yarn over, pull through. 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice, insert into the next chain, yarn over, pull through, 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. One more. We've got the height that we want. We want it to go back down the other side by working 1 treble into the next chain. In the next chain, half treble. And finally, in the next chain, work a slip stitch. That's given us a really nice curve on the leaf. If you prefer, you can leave it so that it's a thin leaf, but I'm going to work down the other side. Turn the leaf round, and so that it's uniform on the other side, whatever stitch we did this side, we do exactly the same opposite. This was our half treble, treble, double treble, double treble, double treble, treble, half treble, and then finally slip stitch into the end. Working opposite the half treble, we work another half treble, opposite the treble, work a treble, and we're mirroring the stitch on the other side. Three double trebles, one, two, three, a treble, half treble, and finally work a slip stitch in the top of that stitch. This is a little bit tricky to locate, but persevere. And as long as you get it roughly near the top, That'll be absolutely fine. We cut the yarn and pull it through, and that's our leaf complete. Taking the centre of your flower, have the smooth side facing up. Position the stem so it's up and away from you. Locate the first one chain space to the left of it. Insert your hook into that one chain space. Yarn over, starting a new colour. Grab that yarn with the hook and chain one. Pull nice and tight because we want to anchor that stitch. The next space is a chain two space. Create the petal in this chain two space by working 3 trebles into the same space. 1, 2, 3, 1 double treble. Remember to put the yarn round twice, and 3 more trebles all in that same space. The petal has now been created and it's made up of 7 stitches. As that stitch is up in the air, we use the one chain space to anchor it. Insert your hook and slip stitch to pull that petal down. The next space is a chain two space, and we hop straight over to it and create the second petal in exactly the same way. 3 treble in that chain two space. 1, 2, 3, 1 double treble, 3 more treble, all in that same space. Anchor that petal by working a slip stitch in the chain one space. Continue around working petals in the chain two space, anchoring it in the chain one space with a slip stitch. Once the final petal has been worked, we hop over the stem and close the round with a slip stitch in the same space that we started at the beginning. Cut the yarn and pull through. Pull the centre of the flower. The petals have now been created, and you can always leave it like that if you want. I worked a round of slip stitches around the edge. So let's do that now. It doesn't matter which petal you start with in this round, but the first thing that you want to do is locate the slip stitch from the previous round. Work into the base of this slip stitch each time. So when instructed to create a stitch here, that's where you want to put the hook. It goes in exactly the same place as where the slip stitch was inserted in the petal round. Insert your hook, yarn over and join your new colour by chaining one to secure, and pull this nice and tight. The petals have 7 stitches in them. A slip stitch is worked under the V in that top of each stitch. One slip stitch in each stitch. A top tip is to work these nice and loose. If you pull these too tight, they're going to make the petal curl up. If that's the look you're after, that's absolutely fine. But by keeping them really loose, you'll end up with a nice flat flower. Insert your hook under the first V of the first stitch of the petal and work a slip stitch. Then in the next one, continue around the edge of the petal, working a slip stitch under each of the V's. When you've completed the last slip stitch, insert your hook at the base of the slip stitch from the petal round, yarn over, pull through and up. Pull the stitch up so that it's in line with the top of the petal, yarn over and pull through both stitches. Work a slip stitch in the top of each of the stitches in the next petal. Remember to keep them nice and loose. And once you've worked in each of them, insert your hook in the same place as the slip stitch from the previous round. Pull that yarn through and up and yarn over and pull through both of the stitches. Repeat this sequence for the remaining petals. Once you have completed the slip stitches in the final petal, join under that first slip stitch at the beginning, yarn over and pull through. Cut the yarn and pull through. You can leave a little space in between the flower if you want to, or you can pull it tight. Press the flower into shape. It's then time to tackle these ends. Use a wool darning needle, making sure the eye of the needle is large enough for the yarn that you are using. And a top tip is to weave these in the densest part of the petal. I find that this part down here at the base of the stitches is the best. Insert the needle under a couple of stitches and then wind the yarn round and pull, and that will secure the yarn into a knot. Then we weave it, and I'm at the back of the work while I'm doing this. I'm weaving it in between the layers on the base of those trebles. So I weave it one way and then back again. When I come back, I make sure I don't go into exactly the same place as I came out from, otherwise it's just going to unravel. And I'm making sure that I'm still in between the layers, and I do it one more time. I like to do it back and forth and back again. And then we trim that end off, and that end is hidden in between the densest part of the petal, and it won't show. Go ahead and weave all your ends in, and I will see you back for the finished bookmark. And there you can see our completed bookmarks. Hope you have fun making yours, and I'll see you soon for another tutorial.